What's going on, everybody? Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media. Sorry for the background noise there. Guess my grandfather's doing some work outside and everything. But quick live stream, not too much on it. But wanted to talk about Alabama recruiting. Alabama recruits have lost some guys to the portal. It seems like some guys have come back. Some guys stick around. Kalen DeBoer, what he did at Washington, bringing in Michael Penix. You brought in Jeremy Bernard from where was he? Michigan State. Brought in Jabbar Muhammad from Oklahoma State, key cornerback that was on the defense. Daniel Gata is from Arizona State. I mean, you go down the list. A lot of Huskies were transfers this past year, which is fine. But I am curious the big thing as we get ready for later on today, Kalen DeBoer's press conference. They at least said it's today. I am curious as to someone asking the question of how he wants to go about bringing in young players. Does he want to utilize the transfer portal? I know Nick Saban did that on the back end of his career. Does he want to recruit at a high level? Which he probably does. I would say I don't know what to expect, but there's a lot we could dive into with this hire. There's a lot that we could dive into with Alabama. There's a lot that we could talk about as far as Nick Saban's retirement. But I think a big question is how do you approach recruiting? And even the transfer portal, I still consider recruiting. Um, you know, you look at, we talked a little bit about Washington just now. I'll go to the SEC here and look at what Alabama had. Now they got a lot of guys leaving, but now you have like CJ Dupree came in this past year. Tresman Marshall came in. Think about Jermaine Burton. Think about the guys that have lost. They have lost just because of how they recruit. Jalen Key came in as a safety from UAB. Trey Amos is a corner from Louisiana. Tyler Buckner from Notre Dame. Of course, he's going back to Notre Dame now. But Nick Saban even used the portal this past season, and it went a long way. I thought he had some key guys out there, but he was mostly a recruiter. Now he was a winner. He was a championship coach, the greatest in college football history, everything like that. But at the same time, he found ways to adapt to college football. And you have to recruit, but you have to utilize the transfer portal. You can be both a recruiter, or a portal guy. Uh, if you're Kalen DeBoer, you could be both. That's very likely, and it's possible that's what he is. I hope he is. I hope he's on the side of using both to his advantage to help benefit the team. But I think it's a good question to dive into. It's just kind of something I came up with. I see Mayhem Matthew in the comments here. He says DeBoer is 7-0 against Lincoln Riley, Dan Lanning, and Sark. It's a good record. It's a good record. You look at what Washington had, 2023 commits last year. They ranked in the top 30 overall, actually at 29. You had not really any 5-star recruits, but a lot of 4-star athletes. Caleb Presley is a corner. Rasheed Williams is a wide receiver. Austin Mack is a quarterback. Probably going to be the guy to replace Michael Penix. Curly Reed is a corner. I could go down the list. Uh, for Alabama to remain a top college football with Kalen DeBoer, uh, top 30 is not it. Top 15, top 10, got to stay in the top 5. You got to recruit. I don't know if Kalen DeBoer can do that. I love the hire to keep Alabama stable and have stability going forward, but I do have concerns and questions about him coming in to try to build a roster. How is he gonna do it? How does he want to do it? And is it gonna work out how it should? For the longest time, we didn't really have a transfer portal even when Nick Saban began college football, and if we did, I forget exactly when it was implemented, but even still, in 2007, when Coach Saban got there, it was so out of the ordinary, and so unreal to go and use the transfer portal to your advantage. It didn't really pick up until maybe 2010s, honestly. 2013, 2014, it comes around and everyone's going after it, getting after transfers. Then 2015, and it's gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger every single year. And Nick Saban used it, right? Brought in CJ Dupree from Maryland last year, Tresman Marshall, Jermaine Burton over the past few years, brought in Jalen Key, I mentioned, Trey Amos, Tyler Buckner. I could go down the list. None of these guys really worked out, but he brought them in and built a roster. That's good. I want to know, Kalen DeBoer, what can you do? I want to drop the link actually. I see we got a few people watching. I want to hear from you guys on Kalen DeBoer and how you think he will go about using the portal or recruiting or what you've noticed from him and his time at Washington. Because he really, when you look at it, he has used the portal. He's brought in guys from like Michigan State and other schools. He's recruited a bunch of 4 stars, not really any 5-star athletes that I can see. A lot of 3-star athletes, which is good. You look at the transfers, uh, Darren Barkins is a corner from Oregon. Jalen Clem is an offensive tackle from Kansas State. William Haskell from San Diego State. His eligibility is sitting 1. I guess that means he's sitting out a year. San Diego State quarterback transfer, Jabbar Muhammad came in from OU State or OK State. I could go down the list here. I could keep going. Raylan Goforth is a linebacker from USC. I mean, he used the portal. He built his roster through the transfer portal. About half of it, at least what was starting. So I am curious as to what his approach is going to be for building his roster going forward. Are guys going to flip from Alabama? Yes. Are they going to hit the portal? Yeah, you've seen it. You're going to see guys want to go play for Kalen DeBoer, I think. But, at the same time, there's going to be guys that if things don't work out, I want to know about his leadership. I want to know about what his vision is for this program, how he plans to get back atop college football with putting Alabama on the map. And I mean, Alabama's on the map because of what Nick Saban did, but instantly this season goes south, they're falling off. How do you rebound? How do you get back if you're Kalen DeBoer? I dropped the StreamYard link. Anyone's welcome on. Would love to hear from you guys. We're talking about Alabama football with the new head coach, Kalen DeBoer, in Tuscaloosa. Not with him, but just talking about him. I'd be lucky to get a conversation with him, honestly. Uh, like I say, Washington was built on transfers and recruits, but not to the level that Nick Saban built Alabama, not to the level of Kirby Smart in Georgia, not to the level of first off, Dabo doesn't use the portal. He's allergic to it. But he did recruit, so I'll give him that. I just want to know the bottom line of how Kalen DeBoer is going to build his roster and get guys to come to Tuscaloosa. What's up, Mayhem?
What's up? Did you see what Caleb Downs posted on Twitter about an hour ago?
What happened?
He put the dog emoji and then put a question mark.
Like the Huskies head coach,
No, like maybe he might be transferring to the Georgia Bulldogs.
the Washington Huskies. He won't go to Georgia if he's smart.
Huh. He put
No, let me go look at it real quick. I am curious. He's trending with 2,000 plus posts in the United States on X. Um, so so I did see where you guys got the co-defensive backs coach. I did see that.
T
There
Rob.
is not now there's people saying like Barstool Bama says Caleb Downs to UGA is gonna make me vomit. Yeah, Squidward's World. Who is this? If Caleb Downs leaves, I'm legit gonna fall back into depression, bro. Here's the post. Let me share screen this. This is on Twitter. This is Caleb Downs' post right here. And by the way, the background noise you hear, my grandfather's working outside, so I apologize. Here's Caleb Downs. He put a dog emoji and those eyes, when you want to say, like, keep your eye on something. Anyway, that could mean anything, but at the same time, I'm nervous that he's out the door. Like, what do you think?
I think if he goes to Georgia, Georgia's winning a national championship. I mean, come on, bro. I mean, he's one of the best backs in the country.
I think he is the best back in college football right now. Have you seen how he plays?
I mean, anyways, I just wanted to poke a little bit of fun with you on that. I also think that Georgia's also in the run for what's that guy, the wide receiver, or no, not wide receiver. I'm drawing a blank. Anyways, the other guy that just hit the portal for Alabama. But we got that Pope guy, defensive back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pope. You talking about Jake Pope?
yeah. I think we got him
Yeah.
yesterday. So Georgia's starting to get a lot of Bama guys.
This guy on Twitter says if OSU, I guess Ohio State, lands Caleb Downs and adds another offensive lineman, they are easily the number one team in the country. I've never seen OSU with this kind of urgency to win. This is how they should be always. Oh my gosh. Even Ohio State fan, I'm assuming this is Ohio State here. Uh
Now here's another thing, right? Um, no one's really talking about the fact that um Will Rogers hit the transfer portal after committing this year, because you remember he hit the transfer portal from Mississippi State and he went to Washington, and then he hit the transfer portal again after his head coach DeBoer went to Bama. Is he on his way to Alabama? And is that your new quarterback one?
I'm sorry, I was still reading some tweets. Can you repeat that real quick?
You know, Will Rogers this year hit the transfer portal from Mississippi State, and he com-
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
he committed to Washington this year, just like a couple months
Yeah.
ago. I mean, I think it was just like last month or so. He committed to Washington. Um, and then whenever DeBoer hit to Alabama, well now Will Rogers is back in the portal. Does that mean DeBoer is bringing a quarterback with him?
It's possible. And
And
if that's the case, I mean, by the way, if you think that Milroe's just going to be the guy for Alabama this next year with Kalen DeBoer, you're out of your mind. Because I'm not saying he can't be, but with a new coach comes a new competition, a new style of play, a new everything. He might even like start from scratch on this roster, mix it up a bit. I don't know.
I mean, who do you think? Who do you want? Caleb? I mean, Jalen Milroe or Will Rogers in that scenario?
I don't know because I don't know what I liked what Nick Saban was able to do to help Jalen Milroe this past year. I love the connection with Tommy Reese. I don't know what's in store for Kalen DeBoer. I don't know. I mean, you got a guy with a lot of experience in Will Rogers. I think he's really, really good. There's a part of me I don't want to see Milroe go though. I really don't, man.
I mean, I remember at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, everybody wanted Milroe to go,
Yeah,
and I mean, Will Rogers probably. I mean, there's one of two options. He's either going to follow DeBoer because he only has what one or two more years left. I mean, he can't have that much longer left.
right.
Um, if he has 2 more years left, then I think he follows DeBoer. If he only has one more eligibility left, I don't think there's a way. I don't think there's any type of way where DeBoer only uses. I don't see. I don't see. There's a way that Will Rogers only comes in for 1 year. That's not really like Bama to do that, right? Uh,
Right.
just get a quarterback for 1 year. You need to establish quarterback. So, which Will
Tommy
Rogers?
Reese is.
Huh?
Oh, go ahead and finish that.
What did you say?
I'm reading from the Bama Beat. This is a pretty good source on Twitter. 17 minutes ago, it says, I'm told Washington offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb and wide receivers coach Jamarcus Shepard are expected to join Kalen DeBoer's staff at Alabama. That's, oh my gosh, dude. Come on.
Well, you.
Give us some slack. I might change my prediction.
I mean, do you know? Did you know that Alabama and Nick Saban wanted Ryan Grubb last year?
I heard that news. Yeah.
So I mean, why is that bad news?
No, it's not bad news. I'm excited.
And then who else was the other guy that they're bringing?
Wide receivers coach from Washington, Jamarcus Shepard
Yeah, and you know who they had on their squad, right?
from Rome Odunze.
I mean, I think he's better than Marvin Harrison Jr. So I mean, you should feel a little bit
I don't know
excited.
if I go with that.
I,
I think those are the top two in the draft coming up, but I don't know if
Dunze,
he'd be better than Marvin Harrison.
if a Dunze was wearing an Ohio State jersey, you would be saying a Dunze is better. Facts.
You're probably right on that. I can't argue too much.
I mean, the only reason
Uh,
why there's only two reasons why Marvin Harrison is quote unquote better than a Dunze. Number one, his last name Harrison, right? When
yeah,
Marvin Harrison Senior played for the NFL for the Colts, and he was all time great, right? Marvin Harrison Jr. He has family ties to the sport, and he plays for the Ohio State University. So, which brings in wide receivers all the time. So Washington's really not known for wide receivers coming in to the university that much like that. So to have, they had um they had some guys other than Adunze, but Adunze
Yeah.
was the star there.
There's a lot of guys that are staying at Alabama. There's a lot of guys that are probably going to leave too. But did you see where Malachi Moore is going to come back next year? And that he was tagged in a post from the Alabama football pages that he's sitting there smiling with Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
wrestling talk. What's going on?
see, go dogs. That is all. That
You know who that is?
yeah, that is
Yeah,
chess. He's
and
playing chess.
Crimson.
He's playing chess.
Yeah, good to see you, buddy. um, yeah, I still think 8-4, 9-3 is your ceiling for this next season, but that's not to say that DeBoer can't, you know, going forward, get some stuff taken care of.
Let
Um,
I wanna ask you this question. So how in the 14 playoff we never seen a 10-2 team go into the 14 playoff, right?
right.
Is it possible that we see a 9-3 team make the playoffs? Obviously, it is possible. If you win your conference as a 9-3 team, you're automatically in the playoffs as the conference champion. I get it, but as far as the automatic bids go, I'm not talking about champions. I'm just talking about automatic bids. Do you see a world where a 9-3 team gets in?
I mean, I guess if the committee likes that team, and I guess it depends on what your 3 losses are. So, like, for example, now that you have Alabama's schedule for next year, they gotta play teams like Georgia, Oklahoma. Let's say those are your 2 losses, and let's say those teams are doing pretty good, right? We looked at their schedule yesterday, we got the video up. I would say if you have Alabama lose to Georgia, Oklahoma, and then maybe either LSU or Tennessee. Well, no, you can't have that because that's like 3 SEC losses. So what if they're dropping that Wisconsin game? What if they drop, I hate to say it. What if they have a 0-3 start and they go on like a 9-game win streak and then they, beat everyone in the SEC that they can. And they're going to Atlanta and they finished 10-3 on the year. SEC champs. They have to put conference champions in, right?
I mean, they have to, but that's not.
Because of that, because they proposed that in their contract and the deal with the CFP of this 12-team playoff is we're going to get the Power Five conference champs in.
It is not really Power Five anymore, but it would be the six highest ranked conference champions. So there's a world where you
Yeah.
see two group of five because it'd be unless the Pac-12 merges with like the Mountain West or something like that, and still calls them the Power Five or something like that. There's a world where you'll see like maybe a Boise State champion and a Tulane champion make the playoffs, along with the SEC, the ACC, and the Big 12. But no worries, Ballard. Bama's not making the playoffs. You ain't got to worry about that.
You don't think so this next year?
Nope.
Come on, dude. Come on. Listen, listen. We made the playoffs this year. We bring some of those guys back. You bring back Jalen Milroe. You have a coach that led a team to a national championship.
Yeah.
But then again, you can look at it from my point of view where and I'll put this up. If you haven't watched my video, go watch it. I have them 9-3, so I kind of agree with you.
I don't think a 9-3 team, unless they
Here's
win.
the losses. Here's the losses for them.
I don't think. I don't think Bama loses to Oklahoma. I think it's UGA, LSU, and Tennessee.
Tennessee again? Really?
Or South Carolina.
Oh God, no.
Don't you have to go? Do you have to go at South Carolina this year?
No, it's home. It's at home. I would hope to get tickets to that. That would be a good game
Is
to
the
go to.
what about Missouri? Is that at Missouri?
Um, Let me pull their schedule back up. I think it is
If it's at Missouri, there's your
Alabama. If it's at Missouri, yeah, that could chalk up as a loss. The only SEC road game in the East that we have,
East.
I know the divisions are gone, but the East teams is Vandy and Tennessee. Georgia is at
There you go.
home. Missouri's at home. Well, let's do this exercise, Mayhem. We've done it on Twisted Roosters channel. I'm going to put the schedule up. I'm going to call the games out, and you tell me if it's win or loss.
All right.
Okay? Western Kentucky for Alabama.
Where?
USF
Win.
at Wisconsin.
Close game, but win.
Okay? Off week. Then Georgia in Tuscaloosa.
Loss.
I agree. At Vandy.
Win.
South Carolina at home.
Just because it's at home, I'm gonna say win.
At Tennessee.
L.
Oh, damn. All right. Missouri.
Close game, but you get the dub.
Off week on November 2nd at LSU.
Go ahead and chalk that as a L.
I got it too. Mercer
W.
at OU.
W.
What?
W.
You think we beat Oklahoma?
Yeah.
That's our only disagreement so far. Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa. Auburn and Hugh Freeze.
It's gonna be a close game, but since y'all are at home, I'm gonna go ahead and chalk up the W. 9-3.
And we agree on these losses here on the screen.
No.
No, what was the third loss you gave us? Oh,
Tennessee.
you gave us Tennessee, Georgia, and LSU?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I respect that. I respect that, bro. I
Nico, I'm
mean,
about to leave you. They're saying
no
he's
Ole Miss on the schedule. No hotty toddy.
no Mississippi State either.
Right.
But
You and I need to
you
you and
do
I
get
should do the Georgia preview.
you do get Vandy though.
Yeah.
I think Georgia will drop one game in the regular season.
Well, let's look at their schedule. I still gotta do the actual preview for this, but look at their schedule here.
I got a question.
Yeah.
Out of all current Power Five head coaches, current, who's the
Current.
last? Um, out of the current since 2018, current head coaches in the Power Five, who has beaten Georgia?
Don't know. Oh, Gus Malzahn's beat Georgia. He's at UCF. Ha 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 ha.
Did he?
In 2017 and
No,
2013.
I said 2018.
Oh, since 2018. Nobody. You're good.
No, zero, zilch. Thank you. All right. Anyways, just keep that in mind.
Mix it up this year with these team previews. I'm actually gonna call.
All right. Clemson, Georgia's going to win. W.
Hold on. Let's do this. You and me. Let's run through it. Let's talk about the team, and I want to clip this later. It's Christian Ballard here at Ballard Sports Media, talking Georgia football with Mayhem Matthew, our team preview for the off season. And Mayhem, what can you tell us about the guys coming back? Obviously, it's a huge deal that Kalen DeBoer comes in for Alabama. Nick Saban has retired. Georgia and Kirby Smart seem to be the team to beat in the SEC. What do you know?
I mean, what do I do know? I mean, I know that our starting quarterback Carson Beck's coming back. I know that we're gonna have Trevor Etienne. We're gonna have Branson Robinson, Roderick Robertson in the backfield. We're gonna have a lot of guys in the wide receiver room come back. We got 3 transfer portal guys in the wide receiver room so far. As far as defensively, we bring back uh, a good chunk of our defense. We do lose Javon Bullard and Kamari Lassiter from the defense, and I mean we're probably still going to go after a defense lineman. And we're probably still going to go after a couple more guys. We did get Pope from Alabama. I don't know if he's just going to be a depth piece or if he's going to be immediate starter. I'm not sure, but because he couldn't even really see the field at Alabama, so not sure if he's going to just start at Georgia or he's just going to be a key depth piece for Georgia. But I mean, remember this is like a way too early type of thing. This team could look totally different come spring game because you're still going to have the transfer portal open back up. You know, near spring game festivities and stuff like that. So right now, I'm really excited about our team and what we have so far, and I'm really looking forward to 2024 with the 12 team format. I believe the national championship is in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, this year.
Yes. Yeah.
So can't wait to be home for the national championship.
That is if they make it. I mean, you do have to get through that 12-team playoff, but I think they got a really good shot. Obviously, you look at their roster coming in, a lot of young freshmen, and um, especially I noticed a guy in KJ Bolden that you flipped from Alabama at one point, or he was at least committed there. There's a lot of young guys. There's a lot of key pieces that you look at for this roster, and bring in linebacker Chris Cole, Daniel Calhoun is a signee. Uh, there's a lot of young guys. Justin Williams, Sokovie White, Carson Beck. He's coming back this year. He leads the offense. He's ready to go. How do you assess the offense as a whole this year? And Also, I am curious. I haven't heard anything yet on Brock Bowers. Is he coming?
No, he's in the NFL.
He's
Uh,
going pro. Okay.
but as far as the offense goes, like I said, the running back room's going to look something like ETN, Branson Robinson, Roderick Robinson. That's going to be your starting three there. Um, on the offensive line, you got Tate Ratledge coming back, which is a big plus. You got wide receivers, Arian Smith. He's coming back as far as I know. Lad McConkey is going pro. I don't. I haven't heard anything about Ra Thomas leaving yet or Dominic Lovett leaving yet. So, them guys are key pieces for next year. You bring a Vandy's wide receiver in from the transfer portal. Um, and you bring some other guys in the transfer portal. I can't think off the top of my head right now, but London Humphreys. Um, yeah, I'm drawing a blank right now, but you bring a couple other guys in at wide receiver to replace the guys that are leaving. Your uh, sorry, I just drew a blank, but basically got some great wide receivers, and I'll be talking about it on my channel later. But um, as far as the offense goes, I'm not really too worried about the offense. I think the offense is going to keep on rolling along like it did this past year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think you guys get in that 12-team playoff. I think you get in the race for a national title. And speaking of, let's just dive into the schedule here and, you know, kind of go through all this. I have looked at this schedule plenty of times and go ahead and give my take on it. I just really don't see a team out there worth looking at to beat Georgia this year. I think if Nick Saban were still at Alabama, maybe you look at that Alabama game there, but Auburn goes to Georgia, Mississippi State. I would be careful though. What's your thoughts? Clemson opener, and then I also look at October 19th going to Texas. What's your thoughts on those two games?
Um, what two games? To Alabama and Texas.
No, no, no. The opener with Clemson in Atlanta and then Texas. I do think you guys beat Alabama in that week 3, um, week 4 matchup.
Well, we're going to stomp a mud hole in Clemson. No problems with that. Texas, we got to see. It looks like there's really no guys from Texas hitting the transfer portal. We got to see if we see anybody really hit the transfer portal for Texas. Quinn Ewers is coming back. AD Mitchell's going pro. Um, that's a key loss there. Um,
They still got that running back, Brooks, right?
right. So it's going to be tough to tell with Texas. It's at Texas. I think Georgia has the roster to beat Texas, honestly. So I, if we do lose the game, it'll probably be that one. But as far as Clemson goes, that ain't even a matchup.
Yeah, we're talking with Mayhem Matthew here on Christian Ballard, Ballard Sports Media, about Georgia's 2024 schedule. It's going to be interesting, going to be fun. Tough challenges. You can't really say it's cupcake. Get into the next part of the schedule. You get your second bye week on October 26th. Florida, at Ole Miss, Tennessee, UMass, and Georgia Tech. That back slate of games, pretty favorable. Only one road game. Do you look at Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss as a threat right now in college football? And I'm sorry, I couldn't even say that with a straight face. But your thoughts on that Ole Miss road game?
So I think that Ole Miss game is going to be a really good matchup for Georgia. But the only problem is, I mean, Ole Miss is built on a whole bunch of transfers. The question here is, can the transfers come together and gel together to make this team what it's supposed to be? You have to have some type of like your team has to come together, and you can't just throw a whole bunch of guys on the football team and expect them to go out and win. You have to have, some team like some team building, right? You got to have that what's it called, that special bond with your team,
Like
right?
chemistry.
Chemistry. There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. So it's going to
Yeah.
be, can Ole Miss have that chemistry with the football team? Does it gel together? Does it come together? And if it does, then that's going to be a game we look at. It's at Ole Miss. Um, you know, I think this game is going to be really hyped up, like the Tennessee game was this past year. And I do think Georgia gets the win there.
Yeah, going ahead and getting to my prediction, I see no losses. Like I say, um, last year I had you 11-1, and I said you lose the Tennessee game. But obviously, I was very much wrong there. You proved me wrong. You ended up going undefeated up until the SEC title game against Alabama, and then you blow the brakes off of FSU in the Orange Bowl. And that's the momentum. A lot of young guys got in that game. They come back. A lot of surely some seniors are coming back for the Dogs, and they'll be hungry for a championship. I'm going to say 12-0 here at Ballard Sports Media for Georgia in 2024. Almost said 2023 there. I just don't see room for error. Now, can I ask you, are there any games that you see room for error as far as close games that could be upsets?
Before I get to that, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Before I get to that, I did want to go back and tell the people about the wide receiver room that we might be possibly seeing at Georgia, because I had a brain fart there. We have Arian Smith, Dylan Bell, Anthony Evans, Dom Lovett, Rara Thomas, Colby Young is the transfer I was thinking of from Miami. London Humphreys from Vanderbilt, and then Mike Jackson from Southern Cal. So that could be your receiving core there for Georgia. Um, so I just wanted to clear that up because I did lay a fat turd, or lay a fat egg, if you will, whenever we were talking about it earlier. But what was your question?
Um, I was just basically asking if there is room for error and who could upset, like possibly, because I do kind of look at that Texas game and Alabama, but again, Alabama with the new coach and Texas, I just think Sark's building a juggernaut, honestly, and I think that could be a really tough game.
I mean, if you're looking about possible losses, um, I mean, Texas has the same type of build, I guess you would say, that Georgia does as far as talent goes. I think Georgia's more talented, obviously, but
Yeah.
as far as like talent to be able to beat Georgia, obviously Alabama's going to have that talent coming into next year, I would believe, to beat Georgia. But as far as coaching goes, DeBoer's going to have to be coaching for a few years, in my opinion, to be able to take down the dogs there. And Sarkeesian, he's a great offensive mind. He made the playoffs this year. Came up a little bit short to DeBoer. Um, Maybe he has a chip on his shoulder, and maybe he pulls out the win there. But like as far as I'm looking at the schedule, and the only two games that I see Georgia, you know, possibly losing is that Texas and that Ole Miss game, and I really don't believe that we're going to lose to the Lane Train there. I just really don't believe that.
Yeah,
Um, where Texas is at on the schedule, um, in my opinion, is really good for Georgia because you're not looking forward to anybody. You have a bye week. So I think on the schedule, I think it sets up nicely for Georgia. The week before you face Mississippi State, so you're really not facing anybody that you're going to look and say, man, we really struggle with Mississippi State. Now we got to go face the Texas Longhorns, right?
right.
So you're not doing that. So I think I mean, if you want to play Texas at Texas, I think where it is at on the schedule, um, that's where you would want to play them. You would want to play them after pretty much a cupcake game in the SEC, and then play Texas, and then have a bye week getting ready for the Gators there, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect spot to play Texas. I'm glad we're not playing Texas like week 2 or at the end of the year. You know what I mean? I think this is a
That
perfect
makes
spot
sense.
to play Texas. And I think we can win, and I think we might win this game, but I'm never going to pick Georgia to go undefeated. So I'm looking at this schedule, and I would have said that we would if Nick Saban was there, but I don't get that vibe anymore. I think we're going to take care of the Tide, but going at Texas, probably going. I mean, if it depends on what they bring back and the transfer portal and stuff. Like I said, this a little bit early. So as of right now, Texas bringing back a lot of guys. So I might chalk that one up as a loss.
Really? So you see the loss coming to the Texas Longhorns?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as of right now, yeah. And so I mean, Texas right now really hasn't had many people hit the portal, um, and I mean, it depends on who they get in the transfer portal and if they're able to keep these same guys heading into spring game.
Makes sense to me. Mayhem, thank you so much. And we appreciate your insight here. Don't forget, guys, hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button for more sports content here at Ballard Sports Media. More previews to come very soon. That went well. I'm going to clip that.
Yeah, like a big fat turd.
Now that went well, man. I'm glad I got you to do that with me there. I still got to make like a thumbnail for it though, but um, so it'll be good. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna get off of here, Ballard. But it was thank you for having me on.
Always, man. We'll see you. I guess I think I'm working Tuesday, so maybe we'll do the show. Actually, I'm not working Tuesday. I'll keep in touch about the show with you.
All right then.
All right, man. Appreciate Mayhem for coming on, talking Caleb DeBoer, talking Georgia. We'll clip that and upload it. Count it as our Georgia preview. More preview videos to come this off season. Plenty of time to do it. Want to try to get every Power Five team if we can. I know I said that last year and we failed. I don't even think we did half of them. Life gets busy, but we can definitely find time since we got off to a quick start here in January. I love you guys. We're going to get out of here. God bless and roll tide.